Hey y'all, good morning. So I want to open with a little bit of inspiration that came to me this morning, and it's going to be kind of a clue or just a little insight as to the spirit of the message today. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're doing well. So what came to me today, this morning when I started out, got my Jeep and started my day, went and got my coffee, was this message. And that is, hey, and I would add, y'all. While you've been getting down and out about all the liars and the dirty cheats of the world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat. And so if you enjoy music, I'm sure you know what that's from. but it's true. It's true. It's think about all the time that we have spent just being down about the awful things that we've experienced, about the time that we've spent not knowing any better, doubting ourselves. Just I could go on and elaborate on this topic, as you know, but it's every day. I kind of think of when we wake up every morning, it's sort of like a rebirth. Every morning, it's like you're born again, and so it takes me a long time to wake up, y'all. And so I mean, like hours to really be at myself. It's just the way God made me, and I have come to a place of acceptance, because for many years I fought it, and I thought, well, if I just drink coffee first thing, and I drink enough coffee, or maybe I need 2 or 3, or maybe I need to hydrate, maybe I need water, or maybe I need to move around and exercise. It doesn't matter. I finally stopped resisting, and I realized it's just how I'm made, So it's like, if you think about it, I wonder if you feel the same way I do. It's kind of like, just like a newborn baby. Imagine, I know they're not really conscious, in the way an adult is, right? Intellectually. But, through language at least. But a newborn baby, to come from the comfort and the familiarity of the mother's womb into this world, it's like it takes some getting used to, right? You have to get oriented, and it's the same way for us when we are waking up every day. So I just, I want you to be encouraged every morning when you wake up, every morning, that it's truly an opportunity to make a choice, to take an authoritative stance and claim your authority over that day, right? If you have a spiritual belief, then I would encourage you to involve the divine in that authoritative claim over your day, right? Just declaring essentially every morning that you are conscious, and you are awake, and you have this awareness that you have been gifted with, that you earned through some tough experiences, but you're going to consciously enter your day with this. And of course, alongside that is gratitude. I mean, for me, it's just kind of automatic. But the other message that came to me, and I don't know why, is saying hook, line, and sinker. So we're going to kind of be inspired by that today. So, let's start by evaluating what happens when you get taken advantage of by a con, essentially a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, it's going to have a happy ending. I promise. It's a positive spin. It's going to be a good message. So it's kind of like, hearing different people speak on this subject and looking at this topic, which is very complex, but looking at it from different angles gives us just layers and layers of revelations, right? I'm thinking of like when you're peeling an onion, it's like just layers and layers and layers. And so still today, I'm getting more and more revelations, and I like that. I've come to a place of just relaxing and not trying to force the revelations to come, you know. Nothing good comes by force. And so it's an act of faith. It's a faith walk every day too, that, you know, we will get the bread that we need every day, right? So the revelation that came to me was a little bit of insight, possibly, with regards to the mindset of these people. Okay, and I think it's important to know their mindset to a degree, to understand it, to better be able to defend yourself, right? To posture in that way to protect yourself. So they start by hooking you. And I didn't really realize this at first. I know a lot of people talk about being hooked, but you know, hooking you doesn't have to necessarily come across as a love bomb. It can come across differently. It can come across by first interacting with you in the very beginning in a way that stands out from other people. So if this person, this con, may have perceived that, you know, most people are going to approach you in a very friendly way, or that other cons in your life might have conned you by love bombing you, and so they think, well, I can't do that, you know, because it's like then you're gonna be onto them. Then they might approach you in the way that I've experienced, okay? And that is the opposite of that. Just kind of showing interest, but very reserved, to the degree that it's confusing, okay? It's kind of like a dismissiveness. And but they're interested, but there's this space, this withholding, and it creates a psychological hook of, oh, well, it's that hot and cold, right? But right from the start. So what I'm starting to understand is, and this has been my experience in the past, right? What I'm starting to understand is, it's kind of like, even with a book, you know, it's the same thing. If you pick up a book and you're not sure if you want to buy it or whatever, I'm thinking of like before the digital age, right? When you go in a bookstore and you pick them up and you're flipping through. In the very beginning, if it's interesting within the first few sentences, then you're hooked. You're like, oh, well, there's some interest there, right? The author has hooked your interest. And there's a good chance that, you know, if you flip through just a little bit further, you might buy the book. Okay. So, and so any good story starts that way. It hooks you in. Well, what is that hook in a story usually within a book? It's intrigue. It's mystery. See? So a lot of these cons will hook you in that same manner. They'll hook you from the perspective of creating this, I think it's called elusiveness, right? So again, they have expressed in some, you know, way, shape, or form, or matter, whatever manner, that they're interested in you. But there's this elusiveness, okay, this mystery. So I just wanted to put that out there, because that might possibly be a revelation for you, or you might already know it. I don't know, but it's tactical. It's a tactical approach, and like I said, it just I think that it makes them stand out. Maybe they think, and it really does make them stand out from, you know, people who are just different. You know, people who are honest, who don't play those kind of games. It's going to make them stand out from just normal, honest people, as well as other cons that may approach you with a love bomb. All right, so the next step is to continue that pattern of withholding, and what this creates is a power dynamic already within your relationship, because it keeps you in a position of striving or working for their love, their attention, their acknowledgement. And then what's interesting is that they can actually point out your efforts and sort of patronize you for it. You know, like if you've already been conditioned to be a people pleaser, you're going to fall right into this, you know, or you have the potential to fall right into this trap. And so they might patronize you and be like, oh, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do that for me. And they may say that, they may vocalize that, but this is where, if the words and actions don't align, see, it's going to give it away, because if you're totally paying attention to what they say, you're going to miss what you could be seeing with your eyes. And so, with a con, their actions say, yes, do that. Even though they're saying, no, you don't have to do that. Their actions are saying, yeah, I need you to do that. Keep doing this, okay? So it's a power dynamic. It's creating this power dynamic, okay? Keeping you in a position of like a serving kind of role, right? You're kind of enslaved at that point. And they just keep increasing this wedge, right? This division between the two of you with regards to a power dynamic, okay? So that wedge that keeps increasing provides the gap in the division of power. The third thing is that they test you, okay? This is all like in the beginning stages of getting involved with somebody who's gonna, exploit you and use you, okay? In some cases as to be part of their facade, and possibly more. So many ways you can be used. But the other thing they're gonna do is they're gonna test you. They're gonna see what will you tolerate, okay? And I know this stuff firsthand through my experience. They're going to test to see what are your personal boundaries, what are your expectations, what are your rules of engagement, okay? And they're going to push all of this stuff to test your tolerance. And it might manifest something like breaking up with you and then calling you back, and then breaking up with you again and then calling you back. It may be inappropriate comments about your friend, and you're like, I can't believe you just said that about my friend. Why would you say that? Or whatever it is. So just all kind of different ways that they would, that they can test you, right? And then of course it evolves into, the more involved you are, it evolves into just poor treatment, in a lot of different ways, okay? Sprinkled with occasional love bombing. And the reason I think that term even exists, love bombing, is because it's these really like flamboyant, elaborate displays, like taking you on these incredible vacations or something. And so then that right there serves to persuade you to gaslight yourself, because you're like, you really don't seem that interested in me. I mean, there's like these breadcrumbs, but there's this, or it's confusing. It's the hot and cold, right? And sometimes the cold part isn't really extreme. It's more covert and subtle. But the hot, like the passion or their investment in trying to what's the word I want to use? Impress you, is like a lot, So if you think about it, going through this experience, like in the moment, during this time, it's like one big trip, or like a dream. When you get out of it, you look back and you're like, was that even real? It is. It's like one big trip or dream. And so what I've also realized is, there's so many things that you can even list out, if you're, a lot of times the listing out doesn't come until much later when you're really starting to question things. But if you are aware, then in the present moment, at any point during the relationship, you can start to make a list of, like, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, and all this stuff, right? So there's all these missing pieces throughout the whole relationship. Things that are just, strange or weird, confusing. They don't make sense. And so what does that do? That can even serve to their benefit too, because it creates curiosity. It just adds to that mystery, which is part of the hook, right? Y'all know I love puzzles, so if there you go. But it just adds to that hooking tactic. So it creates this whole thing creates such a unique experience. And this was an important revelation to me. It creates such a unique experience that we can mistakenly equate the uniqueness to significance. See? That can cause us to elevate this person to a place that, if we had been looking at their actual fruits, and like virtues and things like that, would we have done that? Or is it just that we had this automatic process in our mind of equating how unique this experience was to being significant. Something to think about. It's kind of like how being rare is what makes diamonds valuable. It's like the same thing. So the whole purpose for these people is for you to be a steady resource, right? If you actually get involved in a relationship, you become a steady resource to be used in some way or in many ways on the regular. Okay, so going back to some of my inspiration that came to my mind this morning, like hook, line, and sinker, I looked up what does that really mean? So Merriam-Webster online says that phrase means without hesitation or reservation, or completely. See, this is their perception. The wolf in sheep's clothing, the con, this is their view, their perception of hooking us. Okay, so let me just leave you with this. If a victimhood mindset pops up in you from time to time, like a pity party, start feeling sorry for yourself. It happens to all of us. I want this next part of my message to be the prevalent, automatic response within you. God's promises are already written. What does that mean? That means that in the natural, material world, okay, this physical experience, things seem to take a really long time, right? To come to a conclusion or a resolution. I mean, all this stuff happens, in the storyline. I mean, everything, things fluctuate. There's ups and downs. There's, times when you feel like you're spinning around. It's just this big elaborate story, okay? And so that's how they seem in the natural, okay? In the spiritual world, however, because God's promises are already written, it's already done. See, there is no long, elaborate, fluctuating process. They're already done. So if you envision the analogy of being hooked on the line of one of these people operating in the dark, they see you, or they see us from the natural. You truly seem hooked to them, right? But I want us to see that all along, God saw you as a huge, heavy shark. Okay? So this was really interesting, looking up the etymology of the word sinker. Actually can mean pit. So God saw you that way, not because you're just this grand and marvelous and unique thing, which you are. I mean, he loves you in that way. You know what I mean? But not like you're better than everybody else. But he saw you as, I say, this big, heavy shark, because that's not how the wolf in sheep's clothing saw you. But that's how God saw you, because God is with you and behind you, right? God's got you. So he sees you in this way, and so he knows that when you get hooked at some point, because it's already written, that weight, because God is with you, the weight on the other end of that line is going to pull these people down into that pit one day. So let me leave you with this. What if God allowed the devil to use you as bait to hook them? Because when they chose to bite, when they took this opportunity knowingly to exploit you, then they were the ones that were caught, hook, line, and sinker. So I just hope this gives you some perspective. I hope that you are encouraged, that you are never alone, that the divine is ever and always present, and that you are loved. And I just thank you so much for walking along this path with me. And I just hope that you have a beautiful day, and I will see you again very soon.